So if Nails now arrange that to the recycling center, is it the one on the west side, the south?
It's the one that's, it's not that far, it's just off Edith.
Okay, Edith. Okay, different facility. Okay, so I've been to a couple of them myself, and it's not the one I was thinking. Okay, so tonight I'm very honored to introduce our new speaker, JWelles. She's back there. She's the owner of JWelles Associates, LLC. She's going to instruct us, if you didn't read the announcement, on the current ISO 9001 changes and that are coming out, I think, in July, that they're going to be introduced to us. She's done a variety of things. She has a degree in chemical engineering, waste management, education. She's worked with many bodies, Sandia Labs, University of Mexico, Bernalillo County, Department of Defense. So she's got a pretty full quiver here of things that she's done. So I'm looking forward to hear what Jamie has to say about the new ISO 9001 changes. Come on up.
So give me just a second. I have to figure out how to change the
Yes,
slide.
so you can press the space bar or you could use the mouse over there.
While we get warmed up, I do have one more announcement.
Okay.
Liz and I have been talking to corporate headquarters about the watching the videos on YouTube for recertification points. And it turned out to be pretty cumbersome for us to insert the secret codes multiple times during the message to get the recertification points. We talked with HQ, they said ideally what they'd like to do is do a screenshot of the start of the presentation, a screenshot of the back of the presentation, and just claim it like you do any other thing for like reading a book. So it tremendously makes Liz's life easier, and it makes your life easier, because then you don't have to look at those secret codes and do whatever she did with the secret codes. That's it. Back to you.
All right.
Someday I like to make notes in advance.
Can we set up so it's a screenshot here and screenshot there at the end?
No, you do it.
Per your code of ethics, sir,
Well,
I am sure that you would watch the entire presentation.
I was just so I knew when to hit the print screen.
Okay, so I'm JWelles, and I'm here to talk about the new revision overview. And my presentation is going to be about 40-45 minutes long, and then there will be questions afterwards. If you have any questions while I'm going through the presentation, just write them down, and then we can talk about it in the all right. So the agenda, we're going to talk about the history of how this revision came about and all, and Annex SL, which is very important to everybody in dealing with any ISO management system standards. And we're going to look at the main changes, and then let's look at the changes to the draft international standard of the 2015 version, and then the timeline, and what should you do to get ready, and then questions. The history is in 1987, the first version of ISO 9000 series came out. There was 9001, 9002, 9003, and for if you were doing design and development, if you were doing manufacturing, or if you were in the service industry, they separated out the requirements. There were 21 prescribed procedures. It was not that fun. And there was no systematic approach. And then in 1994, there was an update to that version. In 2000, there was a major revision, and that was when there was the introduction of the process-based model, which I think is very important to quality management systems. In that, there were 6 prescribed procedures. And then in 2008 was another just update. And then in 2015, here it comes, roaring ahead, and it's a major revision. So let's talk about way back in the 90s again, when 9001 and 14,000, which is the environmental management system, when they came out, they realized that they needed to make sure that there was some commonality between the two management systems. So they started working together, and what they came up with was ISO 19011, which is the audit standard. And that audit standard was for those two management systems, so they didn't have to be audited differently. So in the 2000s came around and they're like, okay, we need to get some more cohesion with our standards themselves. And so the technical management board said, great. And at the same time, there were many other management system standards being proposed to ISO. And so the technical management board said, okay, we have to try and get some controls of how many management standards are coming out. So they developed some criteria for how to propose a management system standard to the International Organization of Standardization. And what they did was they formed a group, which is the Joint Technical Coordination Group. It has over 160 nation members on it. And there's also members from all the management system standards that ISO puts out. And so they came together, they formed something that was called Guide 83. And of course, you know, being good quality people and all, they said, okay, we can improve on this. So in 2012, they took Guide 83 and they added a Annex SL, and in that Annex SL contained the rules and procedures you had to follow if you wanted to, for justification of any new management system standard that was coming into being. They also came up with a high-level structure for all management system standards. And they changed it from a Guide 83 to this directive. And so Annex SL defines proposals for the process, set out roles, and then Appendix 2, which is very important to us because Appendix 2 has a high-level structure. And what the high-level structure is all the clauses are at that level. The sub-clauses, they have all common clauses, sub-clauses, text, common terms, and core definitions. And that will be from any management system standard coming out, and I'll probably say that about 10 more times, but I think it's really important for people who are involved with more than one management system. Okay. And why they did that is because they wanted to enhance the alignment and consistencies of the management systems, and they wanted to make it easier to incorporate multiple management system standards into one integrated system. And the way it goes is you follow the structure of Annex SL, and then the discipline-specific requirements and terms can be added for each management system.